Kakashi. During the fierce battle at the Hidden Leaf Village, while Naruto was diligently training at Mount Myōboku, Pain launched an attack on the village to capture the Nine Tails within him. Pain's 6 paths were split into 2 groups, one openly causing chaos to draw attention, while the other secretly searched for Naruto's whereabouts. With his sharp instincts honed through years of combat, Kakashi quickly realized this strategy and decided to track down the hidden group. He confronted the Deva Path, the strongest among the 6 paths of pain. As one of the elite ninjas of the Hidden Leaf, Kakashi tried to use a strategy of relentless pressure to find an opening to finish the Deva Path with his signature Chidori attack. However, he couldn't get close enough because the Shinra Tensei technique repelled all his efforts. Fortunately, Choza and Choji Akamichi arrived just in time to assist. With his keen insight, Kakashi discovered the critical weakness in the Deva Path's jutsu, a 5-second interval between uses. Seizing the opportunity, he quickly devised a bold plan: trap the enemy with chains at their feet and coordinate an attack with Choza and Choji from both sides. When Shinra Tensei repelled them, the two quickly grabbed the chains to restrain the enemy, giving Kakashi the chance to strike with Chidori. However, the Asura Path sacrificed itself as a shield, allowing the Deva Path enough time to counterattack and defeat the entire group. Kakashi was buried waist-deep in rubble, completely immobilized. The Deva Path, unwilling to leave any threats behind, shot a nail directly at his head. It seemed like this was the end for Kakashi, but he managed to use Kamui at the last second to warp the nail away, feigning death to make Pain lower his guard. When Choji regained consciousness, even though Kakashi was almost out of chakra, he still managed to instruct Choji to report the critical information about the Deva Path's abilities to Tsunade. In a desperate moment, when the Asura Path launched a missile at Choji, Kakashi, without hesitation, used the last of his chakra to activate Kamui one final time to save him, fully aware that this would exhaust him completely and bring his life to an end. Kakashi's death was truly shocking. A calm and compassionate figure, closely tied to Team 7 from the beginning of the story, and one of the most beloved ninjas in the series, passed away in a manner somewhat reminiscent of his father, who once sacrificed a mission to save his comrades, and later took his own life under the weight of public pressure. When Naruto returned after completing his Sage Mode training, with his newfound ability to sense everyone's chakra, he couldn't detect any signs of life from his teacher. Although he had already feared the worst when he asked Tsunade about Kakashi's whereabouts and was met with a meaningful silence, Naruto didn't say anything further. It was like a part of him died inside. However, this death wasn't the end. Later on, Kakashi was resurrected by Nagato, and, well, he had some father issues. During the time he was dead, Kakashi and his dad had the chance to reunite in the afterlife. They had some very honest conversations, finally addressing and resolving the misunderstandings of the past. Zabuza and Haku. Zabuza and Haku were not biological siblings, but were bound by a deep connection. Haku, an orphan with the fearsome ability to manipulate ice, had been shunned and even hunted by society because of his powers. In his darkest days, fate led him to meet Zabuza, one of the 7 swordsmen of the mist, who saw in Haku not just a boy, but someone with great potential. Initially, Zabuza took Haku under his wing for selfish reasons, intending to use his power for his own gain. However, for Haku, Zabuza was the first person to acknowledge his existence, becoming a beacon of light in his life. As a result, Haku devoted himself completely, admiring and revering Zabuza. Zabuza's cold and emotionless nature was shaped by his past. During the graduation exam in the village hidden in the mist, students were forced to kill each other to pass the final test. Zabuza earned the title of Demon after slaughtering 100 of his classmates, friends he had trained and played with for years. This trauma and burden haunted Zabuza throughout his life, making him believe he was nothing more than a disposable tool. While Haku saw Zabuza as a revered and beloved older brother, Zabuza viewed Haku merely as a useful weapon, a powerful tool for killing. They met a tragic fate in their battle against Team 7 on the Great Naruto Bridge. Haku died at the hands of Kakashi's Chidori, an unexpected death as he rushed to protect Zabuza. Until his last moments, Haku smiled, happy that he could give his life to protect his beloved brother, his eyes wide open. Kakashi was the one who gently closed Haku's eyes. At first, Zabuza showed no emotion over Haku's death, boldly declaring that Haku was just a tool and not worth mourning. His human feelings were buried deep inside, but they eventually came out through Naruto's words. When Gato appeared and insulted Haku's body, Zabuza's anger erupted. Despite his severe injuries, he used his remaining strength to push through the crowd and kill Gato, the one who had used and betrayed them. Before his last breath, Zabuza's only wish was to lie beside Haku. He believed that the pure Haku would go to heaven while he would descend to hell for the crimes he had committed, and they would never meet again in the afterlife. So, his only desire was to die next to Haku. Even though Haku had sacrificed himself to save him, Zabuza ultimately died from the numerous wounds inflicted by Gato's subordinates. They were buried side by side. They were buried together, and there was no heaven or hell. They were later revived through Edo Tensei during the Fourth Ninja World War. There, Kakashi said that their deaths were something he wanted to protect. By the way, I really want to thank you for subscribing to my channel, which helps increase the subscriber to viewer ratio. However, the unsubscribed viewer ratio is still quite high, so I hope you will continue to subscribe to the channel to help our team develop further, and also help you immediately receive the newest notifications about anime. Thank you so much! Next, Itachi. Itachi Uchiha is one of the most complex characters in the Naruto world, and his death is quite controversial. We should note that Itachi technically died twice in Naruto. The first time was after his intense battle with his brother Sasuke, and the second was when his soul truly passed on after being resurrected by Kabuto using Edo Tensei. Well, with that explanation of mine, many characters could be said to have died twice. Now, let's talk about the first time he died, during the battle between the Uchiha brothers. Sasuke attacked Itachi with all his might, but Itachi was able to dodge most of his attacks. In a desperate attempt to defeat his brother, Sasuke released Orochimaru, who had always sought to take over his body. Itachi not only stopped Orochimaru, but also removed the cursed seal from Sasuke, something his brother had received during the Forest of Death in the second stage of the Chunin exams. As the battle ended, in the moment Sasuke thought he would lose his eyes to Itachi, coughing up blood from his illness, unexpectedly poked Sasuke's forehead, a familiar gesture of affection from their childhood. This act wasn't just a memory, but also Itachi's way of implanting Amaterasu into Sasuke's eyes. With his final breath, Itachi smiled, apologized to his brother, and passed away. How do you feel about this moment? Up until that point, Itachi was still seen as a villain, a powerful one who had wiped out his entire clan, abandoned the Leaf Village, joined a criminal organization, and inflicted mental torment on Sasuke, fueling his brother's immense hatred. So, this death, especially with Itachi not taking Sasuke's eyes, left the audience more shocked and confused than sympathetic. The grief only set in later when Obito revealed Itachi's true intentions. Everything Itachi did was ultimately to protect the honor of his clan, the Leaf Village, and his younger brother. He chose to bear the weight of it all alone, turning his back on the entire ninja world, and from the very beginning, he had accepted that he would die at the hands of his brother. Much later, during the Fourth Great Ninja War, when he was summoned by Kabuto's Edo Tensei, Itachi found a way to break free from the jutsu. He confessed and apologized to his brother. Itachi had never been free to live according to his heart's desires. For the first time, Itachi chose not to carry everything alone anymore. He decided to embrace his emotions and share the responsibility of achieving peace with Naruto and the other ninjas. If you notice, the act of tapping Sasuke's forehead was Itachi's love language, a gesture that both expressed affection and kept Sasuke at a distance. However, before his second death, Itachi pressed his forehead against Sasuke's, closing the gap completely. This showed absolute equality and closeness. No matter what choices Sasuke made, Itachi would always love him unconditionally. In the end, Itachi was finally able to open his heart to his brother, achieved peace of mind, and was able to leave without any regrets. What do you think about this death? With everything he did, do you see Itachi as a hero or a villain? I'll leave room for your personal opinions in the comment section. I'm genuinely curious to hear what you all think. Jiraiya. Jiraiya was a powerful ninja. He was the teacher of three key characters in the story: Nagato, Minato, and Naruto. Jiraiya's death was one of the most heartbreaking and significant moments in Naruto, a tragedy that reshaped the entire story. It all started when he was assigned to investigate the mysterious criminal organization Akatsuki, who were hunting the tailed beasts. He faced Pain, who possessed the Rinnegan, one of the most powerful eyes in the ninja world. The power of the Rinnegan allowed Pain to create multiple bodies with different abilities, known as the Six Paths of Pain, which could coordinate attacks in a deadly and synchronized manner. Despite this, Jiraiya, with his experience and strength, discovered many things about Pain's abilities and even managed to seriously injure some of the bodies. However, Pain's special abilities, such as the power to absorb jutsu and summon giant monsters, overwhelmed him. What's notable is that the one who ended Jiraiya's life was Nagato, his former student and the true leader of Akatsuki. Jiraiya's abilities in this battle were incredible, as he managed to defeat 3 of the 6 paths of Pain without any prior information about his opponent. When he uncovered the secret of the 6 paths of Pain, it was also when he received fatal blows. However, with his last breath, he was able to send a secret message to the Hidden Leaf Village about Pain. In reality, Jiraiya had the chance to retreat and survive, but he chose to stay behind to gather more information about Pain. Jiraiya believed that this was crucial to protect the Hidden Leaf Village and to help Naruto in the future, and the cost of that was his life. In his final moments, Jiraiya reflected on his life and the failures he had experienced. He never won Tsunade's heart. He couldn't stop Orochimaru from leaving the Hidden Leaf. He failed to protect his teacher, Hiruzen Sarutobi, and his student, Minato Namikaze. He thought his death was meaningless until he remembered Minato's compliment about his book and how Minato named his son after the main character in that book. At that moment, Jiraiya realized that he was the one who named Naruto, and that Naruto was the child of the prophecy. And he died with a smile, accepting his death with great honor. Minato and Kushina. The story of Minato and Kushina's death is one of the most tragic and emotional moments in the Naruto series. As exceptional ninjas of the Hidden Leaf Village, they sacrificed their lives on a fateful night to protect the village and their newborn son, Naruto. It all started when Obito Uchiha, who was hiding under the identity of Madara Uchiha, attacked the Hidden Leaf Village and released the Nine Tails. This was a chakra beast with terrifying destructive power sealed inside Kushina's body. Obito chose the day Kushina gave birth to Naruto to strike, as her body was extremely weak at that time. As you know, when a Jinchuriki loses the Nine Tails, they die. It was her fate to die. However, she didn't die that way. Minato decided to use the Reaper Death Seal to weaken the Nine Tails, sealing half of the beast inside himself and the other half into his son. Well, when you use the Reaper Death Seal, you must die. But that wasn't how he died. In a moment when the chains loosened, Kurama was about to kill Naruto with its claws, and the two parents, about to die, rushed in to protect their son. That's how they died. Naruto's birthday is also the day of his parents' death anniversary. Well, maybe those who have families will understand the death of his parents the most. A child, the son of great shinobis, had to live through very difficult days afterward. But the parents, who could not care for and raise their child, also suffered deeply. They entrusted all their hopes for Naruto in those final moments, but at that time, the boy just couldn't understand. Neji Hyuga's death is one of the most controversial deaths. During the Fourth Great Ninja War, in a critical situation when the Ten Tails was relentlessly attacking, Neji and Hinata's father, Hiyashi, had to separate to protect their other allies. In a moment, the Ten Tails shot a barrage of wooden spikes directly at Naruto. Without hesitation, Hinata rushed in to protect the one she loved. But at that moment, Neji appeared in time and used his own body as a shield, taking all the deadly blows. His body was pierced, turning into a mass of wounds. Even though Naruto shouted for medical ninjas, Neji knew that his injuries were too severe to be saved. In his final moments, he collapsed on Naruto's shoulder and told his close friend not to risk his life anymore, because now Naruto had a responsibility not only for himself, but for many others, especially Hinata. Well, let's not forget, he could use the healing jutsu, a perfect 360-degree defensive technique. Yet, he still died. We could explain that he fought until his eyes were too tired, and earlier, he even mistook Kiba for Akamaru, so he no longer had the strength left. Looking back at Neji Hyuga's journey in Naruto, it's hard not to feel a deep sense of regret. He is one of the most well-developed characters in the early parts of the story, with a tragic and profound past. As a rare genius of the Hyuga clan, fate had him born into the branch family, where every member has the slave seal on their forehead and is tasked with sacrificing themselves to protect the main family. Neji was talented, proud, but also full of contradictions and pain, making him a character full of potential to explore. However, it is unfortunate that after this, Kishimoto seemed to forget about Neji for almost 500 chapters, and when this character returned, it was to die, an ostensibly noble death, but one filled with the bitter taste of fate. He willingly sacrificed himself to protect Naruto and a member of the main family, using the same slave seal on his forehead that he once fiercely rebelled against. His death was greater than just completing the life of a branch family member. But clearly, this was a regrettable waste in terms of character development. Neji deserved more than that, not just a death to move the plot forward. He should have been developed further, given the chance to truly break free from his destiny, rather than die in accordance with it. This may be one of Kishimoto's most controversial decisions in handling the supporting characters in the Naruto series. Conan. Conan, also known as the Paper Angel, is a gentle, caring, and considerate person toward her friends. After Nagato's sacrifice and his salvation by Naruto, Conan decided to leave the Akatsuki organization and return to the Hidden Rain Village, the home where she, Nagato, and Yahiko had once sworn to bring peace. She was prepared to face Tobi, who at that time claimed to be Madara Uchiha, as he sought to take Nagato's Rinnegan from his corpse. As the only surviving member of the trio of orphan children, Conan was determined to protect the last legacy of her fallen friend. She prepared 600 billion paper bombs, disguising them as an ocean just to kill one person. Conan was not just as delicate as a paper flower. She had carefully planned to counter Tobi's otherwise invulnerable technique. In that moment, she almost succeeded in destroying one of the strongest characters in the series. However, she was unaware of Izanagi. Tobi used this technique to escape death, and in the end, she was defeated by Obito. Well, so the trio, Conan, Yahiko, and Nagato, are all dead. Afterward, their spirits, along with Jiraiya's, gathered in their old home, the place with their most cherished memories. In the end, they all died for their ideals. It's a beautiful ending in its own way, but if she had been able to live, perhaps she would have had the chance to witness the peace, the very thing they all fought for. Asuma. In the entire Naruto series, Asuma Sarutobi's death is probably one of the most bitter moments, not because it was grand or tragic, but because of how painfully realistic it was. Unlike deaths that were foreshadowed, like that of the third Hokage, who left in his own way after a great battle, Asuma passed away suddenly during a simple reconnaissance mission. What makes Asuma's death particularly heartbreaking is what he left behind. He was still so young, with a promising future ahead of him, an unborn child in Kurenai's womb, and beloved students who saw him as a father figure and an uncle. And not to mention his career, as he was the son of the third Hokage and one of the 12 guardian ninjas. The way Kishimoto wrote Asuma's death most accurately reflects the ninja world. Not everyone gets a grand or meaningful death. Sometimes, death comes suddenly and senselessly, just like how real life unfolds every day. It's too real, and reality is harsh. And perhaps that is why it touches the hearts of readers so deeply. The scenes after Asuma's death only intensify the sorrow. The scene of Shikamaru standing on the rooftop, saying that the cigarette smoke stings his eyes, or the moment he finally breaks down and cries during a game of shogi with his father. These small details carry so much emotion, and even more so, the idea that a child has to grow up without a father seems to have become a curse of the Hidden Leaf Village, a tragic cycle that is not easily broken. Well, from your POV, are there any other tragic deaths that should be added? Which death left the biggest impression on you? Leave a comment below. Alright, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.